Still holding a grudge? This will set you free in 5 minutes. Guaranteed method. What if I told you that right now, in this very moment, you're carrying around invisible chains that are slowly poisoning your mind, your body, and your relationships? What if I told you that these chains aren't locked by someone else's actions, but by your own thoughts? And what if I told you that in the next 5 minutes of this audiobook, you'll discover the exact method that thousands of people have used to break free from years, even decades, of resentment and anger? You see, something fascinating is happening in your brain right now as you listen to these words. If you're someone who's been holding on to a grudge, whether it's against a family member who betrayed you, a friend who let you down, a boss who passed you over for promotion, or even yourself for a mistake you made years ago, your stress hormones are already starting to spike just thinking about it. But here's what most people don't realize. Holding on to that grudge isn't protecting you. It's not keeping you safe from being hurt again. It's not giving you power or control over the situation. In fact, it's doing the complete opposite. Still holding a grudge? This will set you free in 5 minutes. Guaranteed method. That's not just the title of this audiobook, it's a promise. A promise backed by cutting-edge neuroscience, psychology research, and real-world results from people who've used this exact method to transform their lives. I'm about to share something with you that therapists charge hundreds of dollars for, that spiritual gurus keep as closely guarded secrets, and that most people never discover in their entire lifetime. You're about to learn the fastest, most effective way to release resentment and reclaim your emotional freedom. But before we dive into that life-changing method, you need to understand something crucial. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine your mind as a beautiful, spacious house. When you hold a grudge, it's like allowing a toxic guest to move into one of the rooms. At first, they're just occupying a small corner. You think you can manage it. You think you can just avoid that room. But here's what happens over time. That toxic guest starts demanding more space. They begin spreading their poison into other rooms. Soon, your entire mental house is contaminated with resentment, anger, and bitterness. Recent studies from Johns Hopkins Medicine reveal something shocking. People who hold grudges have significantly higher rates of heart disease, high blood pressure, and compromised immune systems. Dr. Karen Swartz, a psychiatrist at Johns Hopkins, found that the act of forgiveness literally changes your brain chemistry, reducing cortisol production and increasing serotonin, your body's natural happiness chemical. But the physical effects are just the tip of the iceberg. The psychological costs are even more devastating. When you hold a grudge, you're essentially hitting the replay button on your pain over and over again. Your brain doesn't distinguish between a memory and reality. Every time you relive that hurtful moment, your body responds as if it's happening right now. You're literally re-traumatizing yourself multiple times a day, sometimes without even realizing it. Think about someone who's hurt you deeply. Notice what happens in your body right now. Feel that tension creeping into your shoulders, that tightness in your chest, that surge of anger or sadness. That's your nervous system responding to a memory as if it were a present-day threat. Now multiply that response by every single time you'd thought about this person or situation over the past months or years. That's the hidden cost of holding grudges. You're living in a constant state of stress activation, and it's literally aging you from the inside out. Dr. Fred Luskin, director of the Stanford Forgiveness Project, has studied over 1,500 people and found that those who learn to forgive experience a 70% reduction in feelings of hurt, a 13% reduction in physical symptoms of stress, and a 35% improvement in physical vitality. They also show significant improvements in sleep quality and overall life satisfaction. But here's the most important discovery from his research. Forgiveness isn't about the other person. It's not about excusing their behavior or letting them off the hook. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself from the prison of resentment. The renowned Buddhist teacher Jack Kornfield once said, "Forgiveness is giving up all hope of having had a better past." But I want to take that one step further. Forgiveness is permitting yourself to have a better future. Still holding a grudge? This will set you free in 5 minutes. Remember that promise? We're getting closer to that breakthrough moment. But first, you need to understand why traditional approaches to forgiveness often fail. Chapter 1. The Hidden Cost of Holding Grudges. Just let it go. Forgive and forget. Turn the other cheek. They were doing their best. If you've ever been deeply hurt by someone, you've probably heard all of these well-meaning but ultimately useless pieces of advice. And if you're like most people, these phrases have probably made you feel worse, not better. Maybe they've even made you feel guilty for not being able to just get over it. Here's why traditional forgiveness advice fails. It's asking you to suppress your natural emotional response instead of processing it. It's like telling someone with a broken leg to just walk it off. The injury is real, the pain is valid, and ignoring it won't make it heal faster, it'll make it heal wrong. Most forgiveness approaches fall into one of 3 categories, and they're all fundamentally flawed. The spiritual bypass. You need to have compassion for your enemy. They were probably hurting too. This approach asks you to jump straight to enlightenment without acknowledging your pain. It's like trying to build the roof of a house before laying the foundation. Your emotional foundation needs to be solid before you can reach those higher states of consciousness. The logical approach. They were probably hurt too, so that's why they hurt you. If you understand their perspective, you'll feel better. While this might be true, your emotional brain doesn't care about logic when it's in pain. You can't think your way out of an emotional wound any more than you can think your way out of a physical one. The time healer. Just give it time and you'll feel better. Time heals all wounds. This is perhaps the most dangerous advice because it suggests that simply waiting will solve the problem. But time doesn't heal wounds, proper processing does. Time without processing just lets wounds fester and become infected with bitterness. These approaches fail because they ignore a fundamental truth about human psychology. You cannot release what you haven't fully acknowledged. You cannot forgive what you haven't allowed yourself to feel. And you cannot heal from something you're pretending doesn't affect you. Here's another crucial insight that most forgiveness advice misses. The goal isn't to feel differently about what happened. The goal is to feel differently about carrying it with you. There's a beautiful Zen story that illustrates this perfectly. 2 monks are walking along a muddy road when they come across a young woman in an elegant dress, unable to cross without ruining her clothes. Without hesitation, the elder monk picks her up and carries her across. The younger monk is scandalized. Their order strictly forbids touching women. Hours later, still fuming about what he witnessed, the younger monk finally explodes. "How could you carry that woman? It's against everything we'd been taught!" The elder monk looks at him with gentle eyes and replies, "I put her down hours ago, my friend. You're still carrying her." Chapter 2. Why traditional forgiveness advice doesn't work. That's what grudges do. They force you to carry people and situations that should have been put down long ago. The person who hurt you has moved on with their life, but you're still carrying them everywhere you go. But here's the good news. There's a method that works differently. A method that doesn't ask you to pretend you're not hurt, doesn't require you to understand your offender's motivations, and doesn't demand that you wait years for healing to happen naturally. This method recognizes that forgiveness isn't a feeling, it's a decision, and decisions can be made in moments, not months. Still holding a grudge? This will set you free in 5 minutes. We're about to dive into that revolutionary method, but first, let me share something that might surprise you about what forgiveness actually is and isn't. All right, let's get to the heart of why you're here. You want to know how to set yourself free from that grudge you've been carrying, and you want to know how to do it quickly and effectively. The method I'm about to share with you is based on a principle called emotional completion therapy combined with neuro-linguistic programming techniques and somatic experiencing. Don't worry about the fancy names. What matters is that this approach works by addressing your emotional, mental, and physical responses to pain simultaneously. Here's what makes this method different. Instead of trying to change how you feel about what happened, we're going to complete the emotional cycle that got interrupted when you were hurt. Every emotion has a natural beginning, middle, and end, like a wave in the ocean. When someone hurts us, our natural emotional response often gets stuck in the middle because we either suppress it, like, I shouldn't feel this way, or amplify it, like, I'll never get over this. The 5-minute freedom method helps you surf that emotional wave all the way to shore. Before we begin, I want you to choose one specific person or situation that you've been holding resentment toward. Don't choose the biggest trauma of your life for your first attempt. Start with something moderately painful but manageable. You can always use this method on deeper wounds once you've experienced how it works. Step 1. The acknowledgement. Minute 1. Find a private space where you won't be interrupted. If you're listening this while driving or walking, that's fine. Just make sure you're safe and can focus internally. Sit or stand comfortably and close your eyes if possible. Take 3 deep breaths, inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 4, and exhaling for 6. This breathing pattern activates your parasympathetic nervous system, your body's natural calming response. Now bring to mind the person or situation you want to release. Instead of pushing away the feelings that arise, we're going to do something counterintuitive. We're going to welcome them. Step 2. The release breath. Minute 2. Now we're going to use your body's most powerful healing mechanism, your breath, to begin releasing this stored energy. Place one hand on your heart and one on your belly. This connects you to both your emotional center and your body's wisdom. Take the deepest breath you've taken all day, imagining you're breathing directly into the space where you feel the hurt. As you inhale, say silently, I breathe in healing light and compassion for myself. And as you exhale, make a sound. Any sound that wants to come out. It might be a sigh, a groan, a sob, or even a yell. Don't judge it or try to control it. Just let it out. As you exhale, say, I breathe out this old pain and resentment. Repeat this breathing pattern 5 times, allowing each exhale to be a release of some of the emotional charge you've been carrying. With each breath, imagine the pain leaving your body like dark smoke and healing light filling the space it leaves behind. If you find yourself crying during this step, that's perfectly normal and actually very healing. Tears are one of your body's most powerful ways of releasing emotional toxins. Step 3. The completion statement. Minute 3. This is where the magic happens. You're going to complete the emotional cycle by saying something your hurt inner self has been waiting to hear: validation and choice. Still with your hands on your heart and belly, say these words with as much sincerity as you can muster. What happened to me was not okay, and I didn't deserve it. I have every right to feel hurt and angry about this. My feelings are valid and important. And now, from this place of self-compassion, I choose to stop carrying this person and this situation with me. I choose to put them down. I am ready to be free. The key word here is choose. You're not forcing yourself to forgive. You're not pretending you're not hurt. You're not saying what happened was okay. You're making a conscious choice to stop allowing this experience to rent space in your mental and emotional house. This is the difference between suppression and transcendence. Suppression says, I shouldn't feel this. Transcendence says, I feel this, I validate this, and I choose to transform this. Step 4. The energetic severance, minute 4. This step might feel a bit unusual if you're not used to visualization work, but stay with me, it's incredibly powerful. Imagine there's an energetic cord connecting you to this person or situation. This cord represents all the thoughts, emotions, energy, and attention you've sent their way over time. It's made of anger, hurt, obsessive thinking, and resentment. This cord has been draining your life force and keeping you energetically tied to something that no longer serves you. Visualize yourself holding a pair of golden scissors that represent your power of choice, your free will, your sovereign right to decide what you carry and what you release. See yourself cutting this cord cleanly and decisively. As you cut it, say, I release all energetic ties to this situation and this person. I call back all of my life force energy that I've given away. I am whole and complete without carrying this burden. Watch as the cord dissolves into particles of light and see that light returning to you, filling up the space in your heart where the grudge used to live. You might feel a sense of lightness, spaciousness, or relief as this happens. Step 5. The Freedom Declaration, minute 5. This final step seals the process and programs your subconscious mind with a new reality. If possible, stand up and say these words with conviction and power. I am free. I am no longer defined by what happened to me. I am not my past pain. I am not my grudges. I am not a victim of my circumstances. I am a powerful, sovereign being who chooses peace over resentment, freedom over prison, love over fear, and healing over holding on. I reclaim my power now. I reclaim my joy now. I reclaim my life now. Take 3 more deep breaths, feeling yourself stepping into this new identity. Open your eyes and notice how you feel. You've just completed the 5-minute freedom method. Still holding a grudge? This will set you free in 5 minutes. If you followed along with this process, you've likely experienced at least some shift in how you feel about the situation you were holding on to. But I want to be honest with you about what to expect next. If you just went through the 5-minute freedom method, you might be feeling a range of emotions right now. Some people feel immediately lighter, like a weight has been lifted off their shoulders. Others feel a sense of spaciousness or calm that they haven't experienced in months or years. Some feel emotional. Tears of relief or release are completely normal and actually very healing. But I also want to prepare you for the fact that healing isn't always linear. You might feel amazing right now and then find yourself triggered by something related to this situation tomorrow or next week. That doesn't mean the method didn't work. It means you're human, and deep emotional healing often happens in layers. Think of it like peeling an onion. You've just removed the outermost layer, often the largest and most toxic layer. But there might be smaller layers underneath that need attention over time. Chapter 3. The Revolutionary 5-Minute Freedom Method. I acknowledge that person's name or situation hurt me. I acknowledge that I've been carrying this pain in my body and my heart. I acknowledge that it has affected my life, my relationships, and my well-being. I acknowledge that this pain is real and valid, and I have every right to feel it. Notice what happens in your body as you say these words. You might feel tension, heat, tears, heaviness, or even relief. All of these responses are normal and healthy. You're not trying to change anything yet, just acknowledging what is. This is like cleaning a wound before you can bandage it. Chapter 4. What to expect after your breakthrough. The good news is that each layer gets easier to process because you now have a tool that works. Here's what typically happens in the hours and days following this process. The immediate afterglow, 0 to 6 hours. You'll likely feel a sense of lightness and relief. Colors might seem brighter, your breathing might feel easier, and you might notice you're smiling more. This is your nervous system returning to its natural state of balance after being in chronic stress mode. The integration period, 1 to 3 days. Your mind might try to pull you back into old patterns of thinking about this situation. This is normal. Your brain has been running the Grudge program for so long that it's going to take some time to install the new Freedom program. Be patient and compassionate with yourself during this phase. If you notice yourself starting to ruminate again, simply return to the breath work from step 2 or remind yourself, I've already released this. I choose peace. The testing phase, 3 to 7 days. You might encounter reminders of the person or situation, a song on the radio, a mutual friend mentioning them, driving past a place that reminds you of what happened, or even the person themselves contacting you. These moments are opportunities to practice your new response. Instead of being triggered back into old patterns of anger or hurt, you'll likely find yourself feeling more neutral, detached, or even compassionate. This is evidence that the method worked. The new normal, 1 to 4 weeks. This is when the shift becomes integrated into your daily life. You'll realize you can think about the situation without your body tensing up. You might even find yourself feeling grateful for the experience because of how it led to your growth and healing. But here's something important. For some of you, especially if you've been carrying deep trauma or multiple grudges, this process might need to be repeated. That's not a failure. That's how healing works. You wouldn't expect to get physically fit from one workout, and you shouldn't expect to heal years of emotional pain from one session, even though it's entirely possible. The beauty of the 5-minute freedom method is that it's always available to you. Anytime you notice yourself slipping back into old patterns, anytime a new hurt arises, anytime you want to clear your emotional slate, you can use this process. Some people ask me, but what if I see this person again? What if they hurt me again? What if forgiving them makes me vulnerable to more pain? These are valid concerns, and they point to an important distinction. Forgiveness doesn't mean becoming a doormat. Forgiveness doesn't mean lowering your boundaries or allowing people to treat you poorly. Forgiveness means freeing yourself from the past so you can respond to the present from a place of clarity rather than reactivity. You can forgive someone completely and still choose not to have a relationship with them. You can release resentment and still maintain strong boundaries. You can heal from what happened and still protect yourself from future harm. Think of forgiveness like this. It's not about the other person at all. It's about you refusing to let their actions continue to poison your present moment. Still holding a grudge? This will set you free in 5 minutes. The method I just shared with you is powerful, but to make this transformation truly stick, you need to understand the science behind why it works so well. What you just experienced isn't magic, it's science. Advanced neuroscience research shows exactly why the 5-minute freedom method is so effective. And understanding this science will help you trust the process and make it even more powerful. When someone hurts you, your brain does something fascinating. It creates what neuroscientists call a neural pathway, essentially a mental highway that connects the memory of that person or situation with feelings of pain, anger, or betrayal. Every time you think about what happened, you're driving down that same neural highway, reinforcing it and making it stronger. Dr. Rick Hansen, a neuropsychologist at UC Berkeley, explains this phenomenon with a simple phrase: neurons that fire together, wire together. The more you think angry thoughts about someone, the more automatic that anger becomes. Eventually, just hearing their name or seeing something that reminds them of them triggers an immediate stress response. But here's the revolutionary discovery. You can literally rewire your brain in minutes, not months or years. This process is called neuroplasticity, and it's one of the most important breakthroughs in modern psychology. The 5-minute freedom method works by creating what's called a pattern interrupt. When you consciously choose to respond differently to a memory, when you breathe into the pain instead of pushing it away, when you choose to release instead of hold on, you're literally creating new neural pathways. Here's what happens in your brain during each step of the process. Step 1, acknowledgement. When you acknowledge your pain instead of denying it, you activate your prefrontal cortex, the rational, conscious part of your brain. This immediately calms your amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for fear and anger responses. You're literally shifting from reactive mode to responsive mode. Step 2, release breath. Deep breathing with sound engages your vagus nerve, which is like a reset button for your nervous system. This triggers the production of GABA, a neurotransmitter that creates feelings of calm and well-being. The sound component helps release stored emotional energy from your body through vocal expression. Step 3, completion statement. This step addresses what psychologists call cognitive dissonance, the mental stress you experience when your thoughts and feelings don't align. Chapter 5, The Neuroscience of Instant Forgiveness. Stating your truth about what happened, while simultaneously choosing to release it, you're resolving this internal conflict. Step 4, energetic severance. Visualization isn't just New Age nonsense. It's a powerful psychological tool backed by brain imaging studies. When you visualize cutting the cord, you're using the same neural networks that would be active if you were physically cutting something. Your brain responds to vivid mental imagery almost as strongly as it responds to real experiences. Step 5, freedom declaration. This final step programs your subconscious mind with a new identity. Instead of seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances, you're literally rewriting your concept to that of a powerful person who chooses freedom over bondage. Brain scans of people who practice forgiveness show increased activity in areas associated with empathy, emotional regulation, and cognitive control. They also show decreased activity in areas associated with stress, anxiety, and depression. Dr. Marina Kanana from the University of Wisconsin found that people who went through brief forgiveness interventions showed measurable changes in brain structure within just 8 weeks. The areas responsible for emotional regulation became more developed, while the areas responsible for holding grudges actually decreased in size. But perhaps the most impressive finding comes from Dr. Everett Worthington's research at Virginia Commonwealth University. He discovered that the physiological benefits of forgiveness, lower blood pressure, improved immune function, reduced cortisol levels, can begin within minutes of a genuine forgiveness experience. This is why the promise of freedom in 5 minutes isn't too good to be true. Your brain is literally designed to heal and adapt quickly when given the right tools and techniques. There's also something called the forgiveness cascade effect. When you genuinely forgive one person or situation, it becomes easier to forgive others. You're not just healing one wound, you're developing a skill that will serve you for the rest of your life. Still holding a grudge? This will set you free in 5 minutes. Now you understand why this promise isn't marketing hype. It's based on solid neuroscience and the incredible plasticity of your brain. Now that you've experienced the power of the 5-minute freedom method, I want to share something even more valuable to you: how to build what I call emotional immunity. This is your ability to process hurts quickly and effectively so they never turn into grudges in the first place. Think of emotional immunity like physical immunity. When your body encounters a virus, a healthy immune system identifies it, neutralizes it, and builds antibodies so you're stronger for it. Chapter 6, Beyond Forgiveness, Building Your Emotional Immunity. Next time. When someone hurts you and you have developed a strong emotional immunity, you can process the pain, extract any valuable lessons, and move forward without carrying resentment. Most people have compromised emotional immunity because they were never taught how to process difficult emotions in healthy ways. Instead, they learn to either suppress their feelings, big boys don't cry, or don't be so sensitive, or amplify them. I'll never get over this. They ruined my life. Both approaches weaken your emotional immune system. Here are the 5 pillars of strong emotional immunity. Pillar 1, rapid response processing. The faster you process a hurt, the less likely it is to become a grudge. When someone says or does something that bothers you, instead of ruminating about it for days or weeks, immediately apply a shortened version of the freedom method. This entire process takes less than 2 minutes and prevents emotional toxins from accumulating in your system. It's like washing a small cut immediately instead of letting it get infected. Pillar 2, boundary intelligence. Strong emotional immunity includes knowing how to protect yourself from unnecessary emotional harm. This doesn't mean building walls around your heart. It means becoming skilled at recognizing toxic people and situations and responding appropriately. Healthy boundaries sound like, I can see you're upset, but I won't accept being spoken to that way. Or, I care about you, but I won't take responsibility for managing your emotions. Or, I'm not available for drama, but I'm here if you want to have a constructive conversation. The key is to set boundaries from a place of self-respect rather than defensiveness. You're not trying to punish the other person. You're protecting your own emotional well-being. Pillar 3, meaning-making mastery. People with strong emotional immunity are skilled at finding empowering meanings in difficult experiences. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? They ask, what can I learn from this? Or, how can this experience make me stronger and wiser? This isn't about toxic positivity. It's about choice. You get to choose what your experiences mean, and that choice determines whether those experiences become sources of wisdom or sources of resentment. For example, instead of thinking, my ex cheated on me because I'm not good enough, you might think, my ex's cheating revealed that we weren't compatible, and now I'm free to find someone who truly values faithfulness. Pillar 4, compassion without compromise. Here's a counterintuitive truth. The more compassionate you are toward people who hurt you, the more protected you become from carrying their toxicity. Compassion doesn't mean accepting poor treatment. It means understanding that hurt people, and refusing to let their pain become your pain. When someone's cruel to you, instead of taking it personally, try thinking, this person must be in tremendous pain to act this way. I feel sad for their suffering, and I choose not to absorb their pain into my own heart. This perspective shift is mighty because it moves you from victim consciousness to observer consciousness. You're no longer at the mercy of other people's emotional states. Pillar 5, daily emotional hygiene. Just as you brush your teeth every day for dental health, you need daily practices for emotional health. This includes connecting with nature daily, journaling on your feelings and fears, mindfulness exercises to stay in the present, gratitude practice to focus on what's going well, and not checking your phone first thing in the morning. When you practice these 5 pillars consistently, you'll find that grudges simply can't take root in your emotional system. You become like a non-stick pan. Painful experiences might happen, but they don't stick to you. Still holding a grudge? This will set you free in 5 minutes. That promise extends beyond just one moment of release. It's about creating a life where grudges can't take root because your emotional soil is too healthy to support them. As we near the end of our time together, I want you to understand something profound. The work you've done today isn't just about releasing one grudge or healing one hurt. It's about stepping into a completely new version of yourself. A version that's no longer defined by past pain, but empowered by present choice. When you release grudges and choose forgiveness, you don't just change your relationship with the people who hurt you. You change your relationship with everyone and everything in your life. Gratitude practice. Every morning, acknowledge 3 things you're genuinely grateful for. Research shows this rewires your brain to look for positives rather than negatives. Emotional check-ins. Throughout the day, ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? And what do I need? This builds emotional awareness and prevents feelings from building up unconsciously. Evening release ritual. Before bed, mentally review your day and consciously release any small hurts, annoyances, or disappointments. Don't let them carry over into tomorrow. Regular forgiveness maintenance. Use the 5-minute freedom method whenever you notice resentment starting to build, even if it's just mild irritation. Chapter 7. The Ripple Effect. How your freedom transforms everything. Here's why. Your energy becomes magnetic. People who carry grudges emit a certain energy. It's heavy, defensive, and closed off. Even when they're trying to be positive, there's an underlying tension that others can sense subconsciously. When you release that baggage, your entire energetic frequency shifts. You become more open, more approachable, and more attractive to positive people and opportunities. Your relationships deepen. Holding grudges doesn't just affect your relationship with the people you're angry at. It creates walls in all your relationships. When you're carrying resentment, part of your heart is always closed, always protected, always ready for the next betrayal. Forgiveness opens your heart fully, allowing you to love and be loved more completely. Your health improves dramatically. The physical benefits of releasing grudges go far beyond stress reduction. People who practice forgiveness have stronger immune systems, better sleep quality, lower rates of depression and anxiety, reduced chronic pain, and even longer lifespans. Your body literally functions better when it's not constantly fighting the stress of unresolved anger. Your mental clarity increases. Carrying grudges requires enormous mental energy. You're constantly running background programs of resentment, planning imaginary confrontations, rehearsing arguments, and reliving painful memories. When you release these mental programs, that energy becomes available for creativity, problem solving, and pursuing your goals. Your purpose becomes clearer. When you're carrying grudges, a significant portion of your mental and emotional energy is tied up in the past. Releasing that energy frees you to focus on what truly matters: your dreams, your goals, your contribution to the world. Many people discover their life purpose only after they stop being prisoners to their past pain. When you break the cycle of carrying grudges, you change what you pass on to the next generation. Children learn more from what they observe than what they're told. When they see you choosing forgiveness over resentment, peace over conflict, freedom over bondage, you're teaching them the most valuable life skill possible. You're also breaking generational patterns of pain. Many grudges are inherited, passed down from parent to child like toxic heirlooms. When you choose to heal instead of carrying forward old wounds, you're changing your family line for generations to come. As you move forward from this moment, remember that forgiveness isn't a destination, it's a practice. There will be new hurts, new disappointments, new opportunities to choose resentment or release. Each time you choose release, you strengthen your forgiveness muscle and become more resilient, more peaceful, more free. You might encounter people who don't understand your choice to forgive. They might say you're being weak or naive or letting people get away with hurting you. Remember that forgiveness isn't about the other person. It's about you refusing to let their actions continue to control your inner state. As Nelson Mandela said after spending 27 years in prison, resentment is like drinking poison and hoping your enemies will die. He understood that holding on to anger would have given his oppressors continued power over his life, even after his freedom. Still holding a grudge? This will set you free in 5 minutes. This wasn't just a title, it was an invitation. An invitation to step out of the prison of past pain and into the freedom of present choice. An invitation to stop letting what happened to you determine what happens through you. The question now isn't whether you can be free from your grudges. You've already proven that's possible if you followed along with the method. The question is, what will you do with this freedom? How will you use this newfound emotional space? What dreams will you pursue now that you're no longer carrying the weight of resentment? Your liberation starts now. Your new story begins today. And the best part? You already have everything you need to write it. The 5 minutes you invest in your freedom today can transform the next 50 years of your life. That's the power of choice. That's the power of forgiveness. That's the power of you. Remember, you are not your past. You are not your pain. You are not your grudges. You are not what happened to you. You are a powerful, capable, lovable human being who deserves to live in freedom, peace, and joy. Welcome to your new life. Welcome to your freedom. The chains are broken, and you hold the key.